This is the Linden area. This is my area that I grew up in. When we were in elementary school, we used to stand out here on patrol. In other words, patrol, we would stand with a pole and let other kids and people across the street. Right there on that corner. Right there used to be where the crosstown professional offices are, used to be the hobby shop. So you go in there and get all kinds of candy and these huge jawbreakers that we used to get and suck on for like 2 days before they would go down to the right size. And there was a cut in the fair fence. I don't know if I should be telling this. They never fixed it. So we always would sneak in the fair free. We used to have epic football games in this alley. This used to be one of the touchdown poles right there. This is now called Willie's Market. When I was in junior high school, they used to have the best coney dogs. Well, our principal that we used to have, Mr. Gill, if you got caught down here, he would come down here at lunchtime to round us all up. That was where I first started playing baseball. This house right here, they used to sell Christmas trees, but the Linden community it was kind of a cool place to be back then. People kind of knew you and knew where your parents were and where you lived and things like that. It was a good time. We had a good time.
Yes.
How was it for you when you grew up here during your time?
It was the same way. I came here, I was born on a military base,
Okay.
Fort Knox, Kentucky. We landed here in Linden because my family was here. So I have lived on various streets in Linden, but when we came here, it was full of community and pride. Our grocery store was right here. Kroger's was still in Linden at that time. So you didn't have to leave your community to go anywhere.
No.
I actually was baptized right here at Travelers Rest when I was 10 years old. What I have noticed about the churches is that they're not from the community anymore. Now everybody's commuting in. So that is the huge difference with the churches that I see. But I am very pleased at what the churches and the faith leaders are trying to do in Linden and band together and tie into some of the important initiatives going on, like the loss of Kroger's. The Concerned Linden Clergy is bringing people to the table and say, what do we need to do? Linden has been a food desert forever. What can we do as faith leaders to make sure that there's access to food? So churches like New Salem, which is a little north of Hudson, but they are saying, hey, let's talk to the Linden churches in South Linden and we all adopt a neighborhood 10 blocks to the left of our communities. So they're trying, they are stepping up to the plate, and I'm proud to say that.
Do you still have the same issues between North Linden and South Linden?
Honestly, it's economically. There's a higher middle and high class in North Linden. So they don't suffer from the same issues that we do in South Linden when there's more low-income single-family homes. That increases the stress, that increases the crime, that increases the individuals who have time to take care of their lawns and be focused on their children when you only have one mother in the home doing all of that. So I think that is the difference in those two areas. You don't think like I think. You don't keep your grass cut. You know, you're not watching your children. Yeah. So those things create a difference between us.
It's a different Linden now.
Definitely.
Than when I was growing up, when you were growing up. A little bit more issue of crime and different things like that.
One thing that we are doing better as a community is we're stopped working in silos. Everybody's doing their own thing to combat the same problem, to get to the same common goal. So, for example, the city has brought the CARE Coalition to Linden. There's a pilot going in Linden where when there's a violent crime, members from social workers from Columbus Public Health, the Safe Streets team, and members of the community go out and they do a canvas around that community to see how are you doing, how are you handling this, and what can we do to support you. Bringing more individuals together that care about this community. It is diverse. I remember when I lived here, to see someone who didn't look like me, who didn't have skin like mine, you would knew that they were not from this community because you were not my neighbor. Now it is diverse. There's Somali, Nepali, so that is a huge difference. And what that can do is break community as we continue to work in different silos with cultural beliefs. So I think one thing that we must do, or the city must do, is to make sure that there are ways that we engage each other no matter the cultural differences. Create opportunities for us to come and engage and break bread with each other and find out what we have in common versus what we have different.
One of the things I always think about personally is going away to school and then not coming back into the community, and reinvesting in the community. So there were several of us who did that. Mm-hmm. What keeps me coming back probably is my mother.
Most certainly his mom.
What would you say to us? And be frank, what would you say to us? What do we need to do?
So this is something that I've struggled with a lot. A part of me understands it, that you want to elevate from where you were at, but I think it's important for you and me and those individuals to come back into this community and talk to our youth. Because right now, they can't be anything than what they see. And the violence, the crime, the drug dealers, they have a bigger voice than us. And they shouldn't. So being involved in the activities that are happening in this community, I think are our responsibility, because we have to know whose shoulders we stand on. And this community built us. It's the reason why we're resilient. It's the reason why we have a drive for success. And we can't just turn away from that and say, I'm separating myself from this. If all the individuals that graduated from Linden, that are on the walls of Linden, poured into this community, it would be a different community. The city wouldn't have to come in and fix our community because we will already be here doing the work. They could just plug in. So I say, come back, find out where you can get active. And I think a huge part starts with our youth. If we can wrap our hands around them and create more Georges, create more Ernie Sullivans, then we are doing something good. We're doing something good. That's my charge.
Okay.
Come back.
Okay.
Come back, not just to see mom.
Right.
Plug into what's going on.
Okay. We decided to visit J Hot Fish with over 10 different kinds of fish, hush puppies, coleslaw, green beans, and banana pudding. The hot in J Hot means a piping hot meal, not too spicy. I have a question. What drives you? What drives you? Where does the passion come from for what you do?
I think, like I said, I was baptized at Travelers Rest right here in this community. I had my first job at the McDonald's that is no longer here. My children, my grandmother, my mother, they're all right here in this community. So what happens here, whether it's little or a lot, immediately impacts the people that I love. I feel safe in the same community that people are scared to even drive through. There's a passion there. There's a commitment to this community, and that's what's driving me. I cannot put the responsibility of my community in the city's hands. I have to be responsible for it.
So you mentioned infant mortality. It's pretty high in this area.
Yes, sir.
Your opinion about that? Housing, affordability. You kind of spoke to that.
Mm-hmm.
How does that play into the whole infant mortality issue?
Quality affordable housing, because we have some affordable housing in Linden, but it's not of quality. We have mothers living in houses with leaky roofs, six children in a 2-bedroom apartment. So quality housing, if you don't have a place to lay your head, you can't focus in on getting to the doctors on time. You can't focus on getting to your employer on time. So that stress factor plays a huge part in our infant mortality rate. When a mom is stressed, her body takes that score before, during, and after pregnancy. So our goal is to have stress-free moms in the community, which will lead to reducing that infant mortality rate. So as we look at transforming Linden, we have to make sure that there is space for these moms and their children where they can live in affordable, quality housing and not worry about where they're going to lay their heads.
So are you having success in that area?
We are having some true success. Linden was a part of Celebrate One's neighborhood intervention program, where they came in and said, okay, sat down with the residents and said, why do you think babies are dying in this community? It led to the development of a neighborhood intervention that was very successful, where over 1,400 residents plugged in to work towards reducing infant mortality, and we have now taken that initiative one step further, and we're going to scale it up to Morris Road 161 and 43219. And that's a great space because those communities neighbor Linden. When something happens in this community, it generally impacts them. And closing of Kroger's, it not only impacted Linden, but it impacted residents in the Northeast and at that Morris Road 161 area. So I think as we think about merging North Linden and South Linden, we need to think about merging this whole north side of Columbus. So I'm excited that we're scaling up what we did here in Linden into this whole north side.
Delaney, I want to thank you again for taking time to speak with us.
Yes, sir.
And I want to let you know that I appreciate you and appreciate your efforts for what you're doing for the community in which you and I both come out of. I hope that the people will get behind you as to help you and support your efforts. And we'll see a new Linden. we'll see a new Linden even yet again.
Yes.